Ethan had always been a determined man. For years, he worked hard to build a stable life alongside his wife, Sarah. Since their wedding day, they shared big dreams and plans, believing that together they could conquer anything. Ethan dedicated long hours at the office, often sacrificing leisure moments and time with friends to ensure they had a comfortable home and a peaceful life. However, after a series of misunderstandings and arguments, what had once been a solid relationship began to crumble. When Sarah asked for a divorce, Ethan was in shock. He remembered the promises they had made to each other, the happy moments they shared, and he couldn't understand how everything could have come to an end. The news hit him like a blow, and despite the pain, he was determined to fight for his rights. He knew he had significantly contributed to the life they had built together and wasn't willing to give up the assets he had worked so hard for. The battle for the divorce was brutal. Ethan found himself in an emotional battlefield, surrounded by lawyers and mediators. Each hearing was a painful reminder of what he had lost, and he fought not only for material possessions but also for recognition of his effort and dedication. Sarah, on the other hand, seemed determined to distance herself from the life they had built together, and every time Ethan saw her, he felt a mix of sadness and anger. The discussions about asset division became a true war zone. As the process dragged on, Ethan began to realize that the fight wasn't just about what he wanted, but about what really mattered. He spent hours reflecting on his priorities, revisiting memories of happy moments but also recognizing the issues that had contributed to the end of their relationship. During the hearings, Sarah often appeared cold and distant, which frustrated him even more. He wondered if she still cared, if she felt any remorse for what had happened. This uncertainty consumed him. Weeks turned into months, and the stress began to take a toll on Ethan's mental health. He felt exhausted, both physically and emotionally. Sleepless nights became common, and he struggled to concentrate on his work. What should have been a process of separation was turning into an endless nightmare. The anger he felt toward Sarah began to turn inward. He questioned his own self-worth and what he had done wrong, wondering if he had truly failed as a husband. It was during one of the hearings that Ethan finally had a moment of clarity. As he listened to his lawyer's arguments and Sarah's demands, he realized he was clinging to a wound that needed to heal. He began to understand that, regardless of the outcome of the split, the true victory would be reclaiming his own peace of mind. It was at this moment that he decided he wouldn't let the divorce define him. He needed to rewrite his own story, not just as a divorced man, but as someone capable of rebuilding his life. Ethan started engaging in activities that helped him cope with the pain. He enrolled in yoga classes, where he learned to meditate and reconnect with his body. He also began hiking in nature, finding refuge in trails he had previously overlooked. These moments of introspection helped him reflect on his emotions and start to let go of anger and sadness. Slowly, he began to realize that life still had much to offer. While working on his emotional recovery, Ethan also sought support from friends and family. He began attending support groups for people going through divorce, where he found understanding and empathy. Sharing his experiences with others facing similar challenges made him feel less alone. He realized many were also struggling to find their place in the world after a broken relationship. This connection with others helped him feel that he wasn't alone on his journey. As the process approached its end, Ethan was surprised to find he had learned a lot about himself. He was no longer the man defined solely by his relationship with Sarah. He was a strong individual who had overcome one of the greatest difficulties of his life. Entering the final hearing, Ethan was in a more emotionally healthy place. He knew that regardless of the outcome, he had already regained a part of himself that he had lost during the marriage. Finally, the day of the split arrived. The courtroom was silent, and Ethan felt a mix of nervousness and determination. When the judge announced the decision, Ethan took a deep breath. Although there were losses, there were also gains. He managed to keep his home and part of the assets, but more importantly, he had found his inner strength. As he left the courtroom, he felt a weight lifted off his shoulders. It was as if he could finally breathe freely after months of emotional suffocation. In the days following the divorce, Ethan resolved that despite everything, he would not be defeated. He committed to looking toward the future with hope. He knew life would go on, and he was determined to make the most of each moment. Over time, he began to open himself up to new opportunities, both in his professional and personal life. The divorce, though painful, had become a growth experience. He threw himself into new projects at work and started exploring hobbies he had always been interested in but never had the time to pursue. Ethan became involved in volunteer activities, helping at-risk youth. This newfound passion brought a sense of purpose to his life and helped him reconnect with his community. Seeing the impact he was making on others' lives began to boost his confidence and fulfillment. He realized he could make a difference, not just in his own life, but in the lives of others. This new perspective inspired him to continue growing and seeking ways to engage with people. He understood that the true split wasn't just about material possessions, but about what truly made him happy. And so, Ethan began to build a new life, a life where he was the protagonist, free to forge his own path and rediscover happiness. This journey transformed him, and he was ready to embrace whatever the future held, stronger and wiser than ever. Ethan had learned that despite the challenges he faced, he had the ability to reinvent himself and move forward with hope and determination. Through the painful process of divorce, Ethan discovered the resilience he never knew he possessed. With each step he took toward a new life, he felt more at peace with himself. He now knew he had the tools necessary to face any challenge that might arise. The future was uncertain, but instead of fearing it, Ethan was prepared to embrace it, excited about the new adventures that lay ahead. Share your thoughts on the comments section and don't forget to follow for more videos like this one.